This should be one heck of a match. And Jenna Gabriel will immediately push it outside to Logan Eggleston.
Got a really nice pass there from Texas in order to stay in system, and that is going to be a key piece of this matchup. Can Texas hang in terms of their ball control?
Lexi Sun will get the first swing from Nebraska. And it's Molly Phillips, back-to-back kills for Texas. Of course, we do want to mention you saw Lauren Stivrins rotate out, but she will be out there back when her rotation comes up.
There's a smart swing by Jazz Sweet there at the right pin for Nebraska. That was a bang-bang play right off of the passer's platform into the lap of Nicklin Hames, and it's a very fast ball behind, maybe faster than they expected. Jazz Sweet doesn't try to do too much with it, keeps it in bounds, and it's a Texas blocking error there, sprays one out of bounds.
Nebraska had to get past Baylor to make it to this point, and they handled it pretty easily with a win in straight sets. And Nebraska, John Cook said that he was most proud of how they played for each other. That made such a difference, especially when their star, Lauren Stivrins, was not available. Nicklin Hames will put it in the middle for Kayla Caffey, the other middle for Nebraska.
The power tip from Kayla Caffey with a little extra power behind it as she throws that one to the floor. Coach Cook said that they have not played a team so physical as Baylor when they played Baylor going all the way back to Ohio State. Well, they certainly probably haven't played a team as physical as Texas all season long. And right now, early on, Nebraska matching that physicality.
I would imagine, too, that matchup with Baylor helps them get ready for another physical team like Texas, especially since they just played yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Drawing two teams there out of the Lone Star State. Baylor first, and I think, as you said, that's great preparation for, if you are able to advance, what lies right around the corner, one of the most physical teams in all of college volleyball, the Longhorns.
Overpass. And Texas loved it. Logan Eggleston threw that overpass down.
All starts at the service line. We know what a great serving team Nebraska is. We know how they can control matches from the service line. There is a tall order today as Texas tries to match that, and Peterson there created that overpass with a great serve.
Hames will go to the outside with Kubik. It'll be a set from Yosia. Maddie Kubik again. Jazz Sweet, wow, that was a tough shot to make. And finally, Asia O'Neal gets the point. That is a taste of what's to come between these two teams.
And that's a taste of Asia O'Neal, because she didn't get a full swing on that slide play. She uses the off speed to go for a kill, but they will continue to feed her behind the setter. That 1 foot takeoff behind the setter. She's absolutely deadly.
Texas is coming off a 3-1 win over Penn State. Jared Elliott said they really gave that first set away. They came out pretty strong, and then Penn State responded, but he loved their resilience in that set. And now you see Lauren Stivrins on the floor as she rotates in for Nebraska. Eggleston creates an overpass. Asia O'Neal says yes.
Eggleston with a whole lot of power coming from the Big 12 Player of the Year. Absolutely slams this one through the block and into the lap of Lexi Sun. Realize, interesting story in that Lexi Sun spent a year at Texas before transferring to Nebraska, really shocked the volleyball world, and it was Logan Eggleston who graduated high school early to come and really fill those shoes. Big shoes to fill, but Logan Eggleston has certainly done that.
I would say so. The Big 12 Player of the Year, averaging 4.5 kills per set. She had 22 kills yesterday against Penn State. Hames behind her to Jazz. Sweet.
Jazz Sweet has been a staple in this Nebraska lineup over the years. However, this season, some limited playing time as she was really challenged on the right side early in the year, not playing her best volleyball. And Coach Cook said she has earned that position back with some really great play here down the stretch.
7 kills yesterday and a block for Nebraska. Touch off of that. Yes, Asia O'Neal has been the go-to.
There she is right there, 7 in white. And again, no surprise, it's a kill and it comes on a slide.
O'Neal 3 for 3. No attacking errors. Tight pass again. Nicklin Hames has to go up and get it out of the net, and she does for Maddie Kubik.
That's a great piece of setting right there by Nicklin Hames, because the ball is so tight that when she goes up, she draws the blocker there as a front row player. They think they're gonna have to defend her, and look at that, goes right above the net to make a play on the ball, but Breon Butler has to stay home to defend the setter first.
Hames has been the starting setter since she arrived on campus out of Maryville, Tennessee. Back row attack from Eggleston. Boom!
Eggleston will take plenty of swings over the course of this match. She was above 60 yesterday, and wow, she is so powerful.
Even times yesterday, when we saw Eggleston take a swing and not get a kill, she never got frustrated. And that was key to her going on in that match and getting those 22 kills. Haley Densberger in to serve, a defensive specialist for Nebraska. Point Texas.
Breon Butler right down the middle. Such a threat, and I like the fact that Texas early on is making an effort to establish the middle, because we said there's going to be a lot on the plate of Logan Eggleston, and then of course opposite her in the front row right now is Skylar Fields, who's also going to take a lot of rips at the ball. If they can get their middles involved early, very talented middles that they have, it's going to open those pins up a little bit, and they're going to be even harder to defend.
Garcia with a tough serve to get Nebraska out of system. Right side swing from Molly Phillips. They let it go.
Coach said Molly Phillips is able to play several positions for them, just a really high IQ volleyball player. She knows what shot to use and when to use it. She's a key piece of the puzzle for them, because with her on the floor, they're 5 deep in terms of attackers. You have to defend at every position against Texas.
And they have some key subs too, so if one of those attackers isn't working out, they can roll somebody in off the bench. Through the block for Nebraska, Lexi Sun.
Coach Cook said coming into this tournament, the challenge for Lexi was to play at a high level every night, night in and night out, and she has answered the call. Wow, what a start here with that big swing from Lexi Sun.
This is the first time that these two teams are meeting since 2016, so the first time Lexi Sun is facing her former team, Texas. Oh, Breon Butler tried to cut it on a little bit of an angle, too wide, point Nebraska.
Tell you what, it doesn't go the way Texas wants it to, but if you're Nebraska, you're thinking about that swing. Wow, what a dominant presence in the middle, Breon Butler.
You always have to keep an eye on her. And there she is, getting a block over of the right hitter.
Texas not able to control the first pass. However, it goes over so quickly that Nicklin Hames has to sprint all the way in from the service line to be there to make a play on the ball. And I don't think they're quite able to get as much out of that free ball as they would have liked. I don't know if a free ball can ever work in your favor, but I guess that one worked in Texas's favor.
And that was Logan Eggleston on that last play on the block. It'll be a service error that gives the serve back to Nebraska and Lexi Sun. Sun was one of those players that stepped up big time for Nebraska too. Led them against Baylor yesterday with 12 kills, hit .345, and her serving game was on a career high 5 aces for Sun.
Guys, how unusual this is. We told you Lexi Sun was the #1 recruit in the nation, so highly sought after, and she went to Texas. And then in a move that kind of shocked the entire volleyball world, transferred after just 1 season.
Kubik finishes the point. Go ahead, Holly.
You know, and it was so shocking. I remember seeing on social media her bringing in this big dessert to Coach John Cook, saying, "Here I am. I'm coming to Nebraska. Here's a nice, sweet surprise." And I think we were all a little shocked. So I'm just curious. You know, it's like a bad breakup with a boyfriend or a girlfriend. First time you see them, it's always a little weird, but I think she's playing well so far.
Yeah, she has been doing well. Looks pretty composed so far, and that's a good sign for Nebraska. Huskers have scored 3 straight points. Eggleston on the back set from Nalani Yosia.
And just a heavy ball. Realize, as you mentioned, Courtney, they're not even coming from her setter. A back set out of the backcourt from a defensive specialist, by the way, who lays a pretty nice ball up there. Yosia, well done. But what about the finish by Eggleston?
Eggleston looks locked in. No attacking errors, 5 kills. Jazz Sweet can swing it too.
There's a look at what Jazz Sweet brings to the court, that ability to use all of the court to her advantage. She has a wide cone of shots, a wide range, moves the ball around really well.
Has worked so hard. It's taken her since August to get to this point where she is playing some outstanding volleyball for Nebraska, but hey, it's paying off. Moved over to that right pin. Ooh, Asia O'Neal on the slide, and you almost get nervous just watching because you know it's dangerous.
Absolutely, and she's gone for a kill twice now, just on tip shots off of that slide. And you can see Nebraska defense really has their heels dug in. And so they're ready to defend that, thinking they're gonna have to dig some really hard shots, and it hasn't quite been there for her yet, but because of her prior success and the scouting report, the tip shot is working for her.
Out of the back row, explodes Logan Eggleston, and Texas is the first to 15 points. Set number 1, winner moving on to the national semifinal. John Cook in his 21st season as Nebraska's head coach and AVCA Hall of Famer. Today is his birthday, and here's a present for you. You get to play Texas. You know, we talked about how physical the Baylor team was that he and his team played yesterday. And John Cook said, you know, Texas even has more athletes than Baylor. We'll have to be creative offensively to work around them and score points because of all the different weapons they have. And there's an ace for Texas.
The first ace of the match here being registered by Texas, not Nebraska. That's a little different, as we typically see Nebraska with the ones with so much magic from behind the service line. I thought it was interesting. Coach Elliott of Texas said, you know, if I thought I needed to get my team's attention in this tournament, I should have it now. We're playing Nebraska on basically their home court. He said the good news is we are focused, that's for sure.
Yeah, here in Omaha, not far from Lincoln at all, and we have seen red in the stands all afternoon. Texas, though, despite the home crowd, if you will, on a 4-0 run here in the opening set. We played to 25. Hames sets up Lauren Stivrins, and that is her first kill in the tournament.
Here it is. It's a great find, and it's a great choice of sets because she doesn't come right at Asia O'Neal. She sets a quick set there between the middle and the outside, splitting the block and creating a good look there for Lauren Stivrins.
A two-time All-American, hits .473 on the season. You need a point, you go to the slide, you go to Asia O'Neal.
Absolutely, it is like money in the bank. She's coming off of a match, Courtney, where she had 13 kills on 20 swings, hit 500 in that match against Penn State. So she is primed and ready to go. Every reason to be feeling confident.
An all Big 12 first team selection, second in the Big 12 in hit percentage. Ooh, almost dug up by Sydney Peterson, but a great tough shot to dig down the line by Maddie Kubik.
Maddie Kubik playing in all 6 rotations for Nebraska, as well as Lexi Sun opposite her, the other side hitter, much like Logan Eggleston for Texas. So we've got 3 really great 6 rotation outside hitters. They are asked to do a lot for their teams respectively. All 3 of these ladies pass for their teams, not to mention the number of swings that they take.
Pushing it out to the left pin and to Skylar Fields. We saw her with a career-high 21 kills yesterday. Surprising to learn, maybe not, but she is the only player besides Logan Eggleston to have 20 or more kills in a match this season. It's only happened once, and that was yesterday.
And Skylar Fields, just a sophomore. What a talent she is.
And moving over to that left pin.
And there it is. We've seen it from Asia O'Neal several times, the slide, and we see it from Stivrins, but it looks like they're calling this point for Texas.
Yeah, all the officials, the 2 lines judges are coming over to talk about this with our up official, Ryan McDowell. And they will give the point to Nebraska.
Not too much resistance from the Texas players here, which makes me think that perhaps they know that is the right call.
Now, Jarrett Elliott won't pull that challenge card. Each team does have 3 challenges. If we go to a 5th set, you'll get an additional challenge. None used so far. Molly Phillips.
Another sophomore on this Texas roster, and not the traditional slide of a middle blocker who really chases it down. But Molly Phillips, playing on the right side for Texas as a former middle blocker, is comfortable off 1 foot. And you'll notice there, her approach to that particular ball was a 1 foot takeoff. So a little different look for her. It makes her very versatile there in right front for the Longhorns.
Yeah, growing up, she played outside hitter, middle blocker, and right side in club, so came to Texas with that experience, which is so valuable. And there's Jazz Sweet. For Nicklin Hames.
Wow, this is a difficult ball to pass. Just sinks as it crosses over the net, dives there in right front. You see the pump of the fist from Nicklin Hames. Realize this is a Nebraska team who puts a whole lot of emphasis on training their servers.
Yeah, there is no choice in the Nebraska gym. If you don't serve well and pass well, you're probably not going to be on the court. So they spend a lot of time on that, and they're encouraged to spend a lot of time on that outside of practice.
Another Phillips kill there for Texas, and that a more traditional 2-foot takeoff, showing off her versatility over there.
Unfortunately, they follow it with a service error. Lexi Sun put Nebraska on a nice little run the last time she was behind the service line. Jenna Gabriel goes to Eggleston. Logan Eggleston, that's her 7th kill, no errors.
And actually, you should really credit Asia O'Neal for that one, because Asia O'Neal, who's been behind the setter, behind the setter, behind the setter, that time when there was a right front attacker, they set her out in front of the setter. So you're seeing her ability to go behind and in front. She gets such a good swing that it creates a free ball, and then Eggleston is the one who capitalizes on the free ball. But Texas was put into a good position by that swing from O'Neal initially.
Texas has improved so much, and then Asia O'Neal steps up and gets the block.
And Jenna Gabriel, their setter at 5'8", is in right front. It looks like a good matchup for Maddie Kubik, but O'Neal there in front of her.
Timeout, Nebraska. Well, the NBA is on ESPN tonight for a special doubleheader. 7:30 Eastern, Warriors versus the 76ers. And at 10 Eastern, the Jazz versus the Lakers. Coverage begins with Stephen A's pregame Sports Center at 7. Then it's Monday Night NBA at 7:30 and 10 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Logan Eggleston leading Texas right now. 7 kills, hitting .467 from that outside pin.
Wow, that's a good way to start set 1 with 7 kills and that high hitting efficiency. But what I like about Logan Eggleston is look how she's effective from the service line. She even passes for Texas. And so she is the absolute complete package. They're going to use her in every rotation. When they're able to split the net up there with Asia O'Neal going behind, it opens up a lane for her right down the middle out of the back row where she can be really deadly.
And Holly, Logan Eggleston has been an impact player for Texas since she got here.
That's right. You know, she came out of Brentwood, Tennessee. It's not as high of a hotbed of volleyball as maybe Texas or California. And she was just so happy to be there and so early able to contribute. But I just see a different Logan Eggleston this season. She is someone who just is absolutely owning it. She's gone from being a high-level contributor to a just absolute dominant volleyball player. She's probably one of the best in the country, the Big 12 Player of the Year, and she is also in the mix to be on that national team for Tokyo this summer. And I just love it. It's like we've watched her grow up and start to realize, oh, I'm probably one of the best players in the country. I'm just going to start owning that and playing like that.
Yeah, she's used to winning, too. She came from that Brentwood High School program with Barbara Campbell as the head coach, won 3 state championships, and had that experience of winning. So to bring that in and bring this skill set in to Texas and then want to work on it every day, that's what's been impressive.
Wow, Maddie Kubik, we said maybe an error moments ago when she swung into that block of Asia O'Neal when you've got Jenna Gabriel in right front. No error on that swing whatsoever. She's very aware of the matchup that time, just drills one down the line.
First to 15 wins, excuse me, first to 25 wins it. Eggleston long, point for Nebraska. That's just the first attacking error.
Yeah, and you see the response from Eggleston. No problem, guys. You know, she's looking at her team, the confidence that she's playing with right now, and for good reason. She's got the game to back it up.
And Texas will take a timeout here. Up 23-21, going to 25, and you have to win by 2. Winner of this game moves on to the semifinal where they will face either Wisconsin or Florida. That match going to start approximately 6:30 over on ESPNU. We already saw Washington punch its ticket. What a comeback, Missy, for the Washington Huskies. And they have played 5-set matches 3 times now this year in the tournament.
Yeah, down 0-2, not just a 5-setter, but down 0-2 there to Pitt, and they fight their way back. Really impressive to see the heart of that Washington team. If you're Nebraska, you're looking at a .258 hitting efficiency, which doesn't sound all bad, Courtney, but then you take a look across the way at Texas, who's hitting .400 in set 1. That's a huge number.
Well, they come in hitting .335 on the season. That's 4th in the nation, of course, 1st in the Big 12, as you can guess. And that number goes up over their last 4 matches for Texas, hitting .401.
Notice Texas quickly back out onto the floor. They're ready to go.
If you're just joining us, Lauren Stivrins is playing in this match for Nebraska. We did not see her yesterday. She is still day-to-day, according to Nebraska, with an undisclosed injury, but out on the court today for the Cornhuskers. Eggleston changes her shot, but Kubik saves it up off the court. Eggleston a 3rd time. Backside to Jazz, sweet, blocked! Set point, Texas.
And that is why this Texas team is so dangerous. They take big swing after big swing, but then look at this. It looks like Asia O'Neal might be in trouble in terms of closing that block, and it doesn't matter because you've just got Logan Eggleston out there at the left pin taking care of business. They are so good at the net.
And now Eggleston will serve for the set. Lauren Stivrins swipes it off the block. 2nd set point for Texas.
Texas brings Jenna Gabriel right back. Every once in a while, they'll do a quick defensive sub to get a bigger blocker across the front row. Think basketball, the offensive, defensive sub, but Jenna Gabriel right back out there, hoping that she can set them up for one final kill in this 1st set.
Here's Kayla Akana. Skylar Fields punches it to the ground, and the 1st set will go to Texas, 25-22.
Texas swinging with authority. Lexi Sun trying to keep Nebraska in this one, but too much of the Longhorns, and Logan Eggleston with a monster block in set 1.
Texas back on top here in the 1st set. They take it 25-22. These 2 programs have a lot of history in this tournament. This is the 6th time we are seeing them meet in the tournament. Let's take you back to 2009, though. In the regional final, it was Texas getting the win 3-1 over Nebraska. They would meet again in that same round in 2013. Texas got the sweep. But in 2015, in the national championship match, Nebraska repaid the favor with a sweep of its own, their 4th national title. And we saw them meet for the last time in the tournament back in 2016. It has been 1,585 days since they have met. These teams have a lot of history in this tournament, Holly Rowe.
Well, you know, it's so interesting to me because they actually started out as conference rivals when they were in the same conference, the Big 12, together for so many years. But it's on the national stage. It seems like every time they meet up, there's so much on the line. And again today, John Cook, Jarrett Elliott, 2 of the best to ever do it in college volleyball. So much on the line again today. A trip to be one of the Final 4 teams standing in NCAA volleyball in one of the most unprecedented years. Of course it's Texas and Nebraska. What else would it be in a big, huge moment like this?
Yeah, no other matchup, right? Even with everything going on outside the sport, all the changes to the season, we still get a matchup like this one we have seen so many times in the past, Texas and Nebraska.
Courtney, I think Texas learned a lesson from yesterday when they came out and really controlled that first set against Penn State and were frustrated that they didn't finish it. Today we saw them control this one and finish it in set one. I think Coach Elliott's got to feel good.
We saw the numbers there when they take the first set. Over the last 27 matches, they are 22-1. Breon Butler, and Texas has to be ready because you know that Nebraska is going to make a push.
Absolutely, but I like the start here from Texas. It was a great serve that didn't give Nebraska a good first look, and because of that serve from Yosia, that entire point, Texas was in the driver's seat. They were in control of that entire rally. Another
and again,
one.
Nebraska out of system. Free ball back to Texas. And Jenna Gabriel in the back row, so that's going to be a point for Nebraska.
A couple serves there early from Texas to make Nebraska uncomfortable, though, is a really good start, and we'll see if Nebraska can return the favor. They absolutely did not make Texas look uncomfortable in that first set, allowed Texas to stay in the system and take some huge thumps at the ball.
An ace for Nicklin Hames. That's her second one.
That'll do it for making the opponent uncomfortable, Nicklin Hames.
Yeah. Her parents watching in the stands. How about back-to-back?
Yosia strung a couple together there for Texas, and Nicklin Hames says, anything you can do, I can do better. Steps back with a couple aces. And you just see that focus on her face. She's not just going back there dropping balls in bounds. She is serving with purpose.
Texas handles that one much better and allows them to go to Breon Butler in the middle.
And Jenna Gabriel there, really nice choice as she's floating off the net, not afraid to just raise the height of that set to the middle. It doesn't have to be a super fast tempo ball in order to take advantage of your talent in the middle. As your setter is drawn off the net, just raise the height a little bit and continue to take advantage of those athletes in the middle.
Hate to see that service error though there. That is now 5 service errors for Texas. And Lexi Sun steps back, a career high 5 service aces yesterday. So it doesn't get any easier if you're trying to pass, except if she goes long.
And that one close enough, though, that it took some good communication on the part of the Longhorns there to call that ball out. So important that as the off passer, you stay engaged in what's happening. You're the only one that can let your teammate know if that ball's traveling in or out. And it's so important to let those balls out of bounds go.
Hames throws it back to Sweet. Eggleston right at Kinsey Knuckles.
Tell you what, Yosia just continues to impress me. She's 12 in white across the back court there for Texas. She's the one that put a couple nice serves in play, but how about the defensive transition digs? Just placing it right in the hands of Jenna Gabriel.
I mean, I feel like she was one of the MVPs yesterday. We saw her setting with her hands. She was digging balls. She has a great serve. Huge contributions for Texas as Nebraska gets a point. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, during one of those last timeouts, it was really great. Jenna Gabriel, the setter for Texas, came over and was like patting Nalani Iosa on the butt and was like, great serves back there. Your passes are great. Like, they love what's happening in that back row, and you talk about it. They're just all really clicking and firing on the right cylinders right now.
Yeah, Yosia has done a fantastic job.
Another back set from Yosia. Are you kidding me?
Oh, how did Nebraska keep that going?
Texas thought that ball was down. They had stopped playing. And obviously the lesson here is play through the whistle, but they were just absolutely convinced that that ball was down. Here's another beautiful back set from Yosia. Texas celebrating. And just looks of confusion for the Longhorns as they were really convinced that rally was over.
Jarrett Elliott does not challenge this, though. Just a couple of subs in for Texas, and now Logan Eggleston behind the service line, tied at 5.
So Texas does get that point.
That hit the antenna.
Yeah, the ball traveling outside the antenna. I'm not sure that a right-handed player even has a good look at that, but because Jazz Sweet is left-handed, she's still able to make a play on it, but the ball just too far past the antenna out of the setter's hands. And as she tries to cut it back across court, it looked like she hit the ball into the antenna, which if she did, antenna is out of bounds, and that would be a point to Texas. Fields was the blocker up there for Texas. So I don't know if there's a question as to whether it hit the block and then the antenna, perhaps, is what Nebraska believes happened there.
And Nebraska is going to use one of their challenges on this play. First watching it, I thought the attack went into the antenna before. Oh.
Oh.
That's Skylar Fields.
Skylar Fields.
Yeah, and Skylar Fields hits this antenna first before the ball arrives.
Wow, it looks like a blocking mistake perhaps, but what a great look at the action at the net and the height above the net that Skylar Fields, so much penetration as those hands are over there awaiting that swing of Jazz Sweet.
Yeah, this call should be overturned, though, and the point should go Nebraska's way as Jazz Sweet, you could see her on that replay. Her hand hit the antenna before the ball did. Daphne Nelson is our down official. So is a point Nebraska. Nebraska will have 2 challenges left unless we go to a 5th set. Each team will get an additional challenge. Kalea Kana back in behind the service line. Texas took the opening set 25-22. Winner gets either Wisconsin or Florida. Asia O'Neal off of the block.
And again, Jenna Gabriel just doing a great job of using her hitters, no matter where that pass is on the floor. She's not getting shy, not getting hesitant, and going with a faster tempo ball, even if it's a 1.5 style tempo. It doesn't have to be the fastest tempo, but she's finding ways to keep all of those front row players involved.
There's the different slide. Can Texas recover? Free ball back to the Longhorns. Gabriel to Fields to the back row.
And we're just seeing so many swings right now from Texas going untouched by a Nebraska block. It just feels like a free net right now for the Longhorns. There is a huge gap in that block, and it's because it's a free ball situation. Nebraska not often has to send a free ball over the net. Against Texas, that's a tall order to defend a free ball.
A 3-1 run for Texas to take this lead. Free ball back. Eggleston out of the back row. And I think she was over the line. Yes, it is a back row attack. You have to take off all the way behind that 3-meter line.
And you see the communication there between Eggleston and Gabriel, because really, if you're Gabriel, you want to place it to where she really has to fly and come get it. That's going to be Eggleston at her best. I think what happened there, Eggleston expecting the ball right down the middle, and she had to come into right front to get it, and so her footing was just a little off.
No worries, you can push it out to Skylar Fields, and she'll get the job done.
You know, we've been saying throughout this tournament, there's just some X factors on each team in order to make a deep push. You've got your players that have consistently been your best statistically all season, and then you're going to see a few rise to the occasion in the tournament, and I think that that can be said of Skylar Fields. What a tournament she's having.
The Stiverin slide, there it is, and it results in a kill. We're tied at 8.
Maybe just a little rusty after missing that last match, but they're certainly starting to find a rhythm.
Four kills for Stiverin's 429, not too bad though. Ace Nebraska.
Nebraska with a 1-point lead, and 3 Nebraska points this set have come from aces. 2 from Nicklin Hames, and now 1 here from Haley Densberger.
Densberger, one of 3 players left in the tournament with national championship rings. They, of course, are all on Nebraska's side. Phillips evens things up at 9.
And just when you sort of get preoccupied thinking about Skylar Fields out there at the left pin, oh yeah, don't forget about Molly Phillips over there on the right side. This is just a 5-headed monster for Texas coming at you.
That sounds terrifying, Missy.
It is right now if you're on the other side of the net.
Lexi Sun. Good up from Morgan O'Brien. And Eggleston is long.
You mentioned earlier, Courtney, her demeanor. She never looks down, so consistent, so calm. And wow, to be in a position where you have to take so many out-of-system looks, you've really got to have that demeanor about you. And I'll tell you what, Eggleston just wears her role really well for this team.
Molly Phillips is wide.
Looked like Phillips just got a little bit ahead of that set, or the set was a little higher than she expected, almost like she beat the ball to the spot, had to wait on it, and just awkward timing there.
Service error, just the second service error by Nebraska. Still a 1-point lead for the Huskers.
She's been so good serving that short right front area, and that's exactly where she was going for it.
That's a tough serve too by O'Brien. Asia O'Neal, 7 kills, hitting over 600.
But Courtney, you're so right. It was such a nice serve there by O'Brien to start things off, that the first swing from Nebraska was very defendable. When you put a tough serve in play, you create a first swing that's very defendable, and then Texas is able to transition.
Tied up for the 8th time here in set 2. Good up from Hames. Oh, good for Lexi Sun, because that was tight.
Yeah, not a lot of options there for Lexi Sun, but what we saw from her yesterday was such smart out-of-system play, using the tip, using the off-speed really well. And look how she comes in, turns on it, and pushes it off the block out of bounds. That's elite play from Lexi Sun.
And then follows that with an ace.
Doing all she can here to try to create some cushion for Nebraska in this second set.
Lexi Sun said yesterday, Nebraska just tried to focus on their serve pass. She said when it was a little shaky at first, she couldn't get a kill down. She switched her focus to the serve pass game, and that really steadied her. And then, of course, she went on to have those career high 5 aces. They get a lift call on Texas.
Logan Eggleston, of course, as the floor captain, is going to ask for an explanation here, but it is a judgment call that cannot be overturned.
They get Asia O'Neal bringing that arm around when the ball got stuck between her and the net. What do you think, Missy? A lift?
I don't know. I think maybe I would have let that go. I feel like they've kind of let them play this tournament, and I don't know that I've seen balls like that called previously in this tournament.
And then Nebraska gets another point. They are the first to 15, trying to even up this match with a win in set 2. Courtney Lyle, Missy Whittemore, and Holly Rowe with you. Our second regional final of the day. Winner moves on to the national semifinals. And Nebraska is up 15-11 here in the second set, trying to even up this match.
First to 15, the Cornhuskers, and prior to that timeout, we heard a little roar from the crowd, Courtney.
Little hometown crowd here in Omaha, Nebraska, not far from Lincoln at all. Asia O'Neal, though, has been perfect on the afternoon. 8 kills, no errors.
Wow, primarily behind the setter, but we have seen her with a swing in front as well. And yet she's really matching Nebraska in terms of that slide play, what everyone expects from Nebraska. Right now it's Asia O'Neal who's really got the slide going.
And Asia O'Neal goes up there and gets the block. Texas is within 2.
O'Neal and Eggleston, that's a block that I wouldn't want to run into, I got to tell you. And I'll tell you, that's one thing about O'Neal is that when she hasn't had huge offensive numbers, she's such a consistent part of the block for Texas.
Service error for Texas. That's service error number 6.
Coach Elliott said after that Penn State match that, you know, fans and people will voice frustration over the missed serves, but he said it doesn't cause me any worry. You know, he says we have absolutely got to put tough balls in play in order to have point scoring opportunities. And so he's really challenging his team from the service line, and he realizes that along with that there will be some errors.
Yeah, they have had 10 or more service errors in 12 matches. They had 11 yesterday. Still got the win. That's the most important thing. Maddie Kubik on the outside for Nebraska.
Really big transition from Kubik, and throughout that rally I kind of have my eyes on Stivrins, Courtney, to watch her in transition. Is she her normal self? Is she 100%? Is she available for every swing? Is she able to get on and off the net like usual? Still looking like the fantastic volleyball player that she is, but I'm not convinced she's quite 100%.
We'll keep an eye on her. That's number 26 in the black jersey in the middle of the net for Nebraska.
That's a tight set, and Jazz Sweet swinging with every intention of trying to wipe the ball high off blockers' hands. Nebraska thought Jazz had it, but the motion is out of bounds, and it'll be a point to Texas.
Service error again for Texas. That is number 7.
And you realize in order to serve tough, there are going to be some errors. However, I think you've got to make sure at all costs you avoid the back-to-back, the multiple errors. You don't want to go too long without putting a ball in play, giving your team a chance to really hold serve there.
Eggleston out of the back row. Skylar Fields off of that Nebraska block. Texas within 3.
And Skylar Fields just really growing up before our eyes in this NCAA tournament as a sophomore. You know, I think everyone looks to Logan Eggleston for that leadership, for that go-to player. But wow, Skylar Fields is just becoming such an outstanding player in her own right.
Ranked by some outlets as the #1 recruit in 2019, was the region freshman of the year last season. What do you think about her swinging on the left pin this season?
Oh, I like it because the game is naturally designed to get more opportunities from the left side, the angles of the game and the way it works. And she's such a phenomenal, dynamic athlete that I think that's where you got to have her in order to be able to feed her enough balls.
This is Fields again, dug up by Knuckles. Kubik out of the back row. And she's got that line shot down.
Wow, you really see her using the entire court. And as a sophomore, just so impressive. A sophomore who, as you were just alluding to, Courtney, is playing on the left side for the first time. So something that Coach told us, one of the ways in which she had elevated her game is that she was starting to learn how to work the court. And we're getting a good look at that right here.
Yeah, last 4 matches, she's hitting .458. Maddie Kubik leading Nebraska with 8 kills.
It's been a quiet 8 for Maddie Kubik, just going about her business. This one, not so quiet. This is a thunderous rip from out of the back court for Maddie Kubik as they show us their backcourt offense as well.
8 kills for Kubik, hitting .286. Nebraska's hitting .318 in this set. But then you look over the net, Texas is hitting .346. Skylar Fields has a lot to do with that.
And the fact that you've got Breon Butler right there on a perfect pass, you must defend Butler first. And then you're trying to release to the outside, but the speed of that outside set, it's just impossible to catch up with. Because once you hold long enough to defend Butler, all of a sudden Skylar Fields is on top of you.
Yeah, Breon Butler, we talked about that yesterday. Only 6 kills, but she demands so much attention from the defense. It opens up those pins, and that's another reason she's valuable. It won't show up on the stat sheet, at least not under her line.
Yosia had been a key server for Texas in this one, putting some tough balls in play, so that's going to hurt the Longhorns as that one sails just long.
4 service errors for Texas in its last 5 serves.
Look how shallow Texas is in serve receive, really just daring Nebraska to serve them deep.
They've been keeping an eye on Nicklin Hames, though. That short serve has gotten him a couple of times. And you rotate through. Skylar Fields moves over for Logan Eggleston, the Big 12 Player of the Year.
And that's what Jarrett Elliott said. He said, we are balanced in every position. We can score points in every rotation. And that is what we have seen from Texas here today. Can Nebraska match that? Typically, they're very balanced and have the ability to score points in every rotation as well.
Hames goes after it, and Texas called for blocking the set. Point Nebraska.
Asia O'Neal over the net, and credit Nicklin Hames for putting herself in position to make a play on that ball so that she's able to get that call. Because the Nebraska setter is there at the net, has the ability to make a play on that ball, Asia O'Neal has to let her have that opportunity. Can't reach over and make a play on it until it crosses the plane of the net.
John Cook told us we want the ball in Nicklin Hames's hands because she just makes things happen, whether it's a tight set or the perfect pass where she can set it up. She just gets this Nebraska team going, and now they're 2 points away from taking set 2.
And finally able to stop the Asia O'Neal slide play. It was Maddie Kubik up there in left front. She's having such a solid day for Nebraska, offensively leading the way, and that's a huge block right there to slow Texas down.
Nebraska has looked pretty good in this second set. Their serving pressure has really bothered Texas.
Yeah, doing everything they can to make these Longhorns uncomfortable, and it's going to be necessary with the firepower that Texas has. You see those serves from Nicklin Hames just dropping off. Lexi Sun finds the floor there for an ace, but the key is, can every server do it? That this Texas team will never get a break. Dinsberger goes back and continues that pressure. Maddie Kubik, what a day. She just continues to plug away. Great ball movement by number 10. They're using her out of the front court, find her in the back row as well. And as we said just moments ago, a big block for Kubik there to force this timeout.
Yeah, Maddie Kubik leading Nebraska with 8 kills. Nebraska hitting 320 in this set, and they're just 2 points away from evening up this match. Kubik's one of those players too, just a sophomore, and they're working on every aspect of her game. John Cook told us they want her to be a Kelsey Robinson-like player, where she has that all-around skill set. Robinson, an All-American, a member of the national team now, but to have that skill set for every aspect of the game, it's extremely valuable, and Kubik is working so hard to get there.
And if you're an outside for Nebraska, I think it feels really attainable because they have such great models. You mentioned Kelsey Robinson, Jordan Larson, players who have gone before them and really paved the way.
Kayla Caffey with one hand, and it's set point Nebraska.
Caffey with some hang time there.
Gabriel goes behind her to Molly Phillips. Second set point for Nebraska.
That time an attacker in right front, so you're not as likely to see Asia O'Neal go behind on the slide there. They run her right down the middle to draw some attention, and that opens things up for Phillips.
This is Sydney Peterson. They still get a swing off by Sweet. Eggleston gets after it. Lexi Sun out of the back row. Set number 2 goes to Nebraska.
Only 4 kills so far for Lexi Sun, but no errors to go along with those kills. She's hitting 400 as Nebraska is able to even things up at 1 apiece. Some nice serving from Sun and Nicklin Hames as well. We'll be right back for set 3.
Bump set to Eggleston.
Ooh.
In.
Absolutely in. She finds that corner with a nice high swing. It looks like it's going to sail long, and it lands well within bounds back there. That high discipline swing for Eggleston just paying off.
11 kills. Logan Eggleston is the only player with double-figure kills on either side. Into the middle is Kayla Caffey, but you know who's had an impact offensively for Nebraska has been Maddie Kubik, and her numbers are way up from the percentage that she hit yesterday against Baylor.
She had such an uncharacteristic start yesterday for Baylor. Remember, this is a team that took the floor without Stivrins. They looked slightly rattled. She had 4 errors early in that match. Because of that, she stayed in negative numbers with 8 kills, 9 errors. But how about today? Already hitting above 250, and not only with the high efficiency, but she's carrying the load offensively as she leads the Cornhuskers in kills.
8 kills for Kubik. There are 4 other players for Nebraska that have 4 kills each. Great serve. "11 points off of Lexi Sun's serve for Nebraska today."
Wow, those are huge numbers to score that many points in this rotation. And it's not just because of great play at the net. It has a lot to do with the balls that she's putting in bounds, making Texas uncomfortable. We said that was the key. Lexi Sun was a big piece of that.
There goes Kubik. It was touched.
Such a smart swing by Kubik. Make it 9 kills now. The only player in this match in double-digit kills right now is Eggleston with 11. Kubik at 9, just one swing away from double digits. Looking so strong, hitting over 300.
Massive swing from Eggleston. Nicklin Hames saved it, and she does it again, back to back. Tip this time. Hames is there. And it was long.
Oh, you hate to see that one fall out of bounds after the fantastic defensive play of Nicklin Hames back there and right back, as she's just taking some bullets and keeping the Cornhuskers in that long rally.
Caffey a little further off to the net, and Texas is going to win the block.
And for a quick ball, it just felt slowly developing. She just floated over there in front of the setter. Felt like the defense knew what was coming. Just not really able to take advantage of the speed of that set.
Offensively, she has been really good for Nebraska in this tournament. She can certainly help them defensively. Jazz Sweet gets the big touch on that one as Caffey closed it.
And you just heard there was a different sound off of that block because of the force that Eggleston brings. And I tell you, the harder you hit it, sometimes the harder it comes back at you. And that's the case there. All kinds of power from Eggleston, but Jazz Sweet lined up perfectly on that one.
It drops in. Yosia pulled up at the last minute. She thought it was going out.
Yeah, Yosia purposefully lets this one go. She's fully convinced that this one is out of bounds. She could have made a play on the ball. You see the swipe as Eggleston is going for a look off hands. And Yosia motioning out of bounds. She really thinks this one was out. Ah.
Oh, it's in. That one is touched. They have had so much success on the slide. Why is that hard to defend?
I tell you, just when you've got Asia O'Neal, and she does such a good job of being patient here, and so the ball is set, and then she's literally chasing that ball down, and if it's set correctly, she can really cut it off at any point. So she could take it down the line, she could swing back cross-court angle, and it just becomes really hard to know where to set that block up, and she elevates so well that she sees the court as well. How about the elevation on the block from Asia O'Neal that time? She is such a complete middle, Courtney. You know, we'll talk about her offense, and she comes out with a block. We'll talk about her blocking, she comes out with a kill. And that's not the case for all the middles in the game. Sometimes you look at her roster, and you can say, oh, this is a really defensive middle. This is a really offensive middle. Well, Asia O'Neal is the complete package.
9 kills, 4 blocks, hitting .571 for O'Neal.
Maddie Kubik again knows that she's paired up there against Jenna Gabriel, the setter in the front row. And interestingly, sometimes hitters are so aware of that and so aware of the fact that there should be a shot for them down the line that it actually challenges them to swing line and they end up missing a few there. And we've seen that twice from Maddie Kubik now.
3 straight points have tied this match. An ace from Eggleston.
Wow, and with Eggleston's length, doesn't it just feel like she's contacting this ball? It's such a high point. I feel like with the jump and the high contact, look at this, the ball is traveling downward as it comes over the net. That's an incredibly tough serve. Wow.
Back to back.
When we talk about attacking from the service line, this is a literal attack from the service line, Courtney. It feels like she is just hitting balls at you.
5 straight points for Texas here in set number 3. Regional final round winner moving on to the national semifinals. And Eggleston had found some success, back-to-back points for Texas off of her serve.
Eggleston really doing it all. Courtney, here we are in set 3. She has taken 42 swings already. The next closest player is for Nebraska. That's Maddie Kubik with 27.
Ooh, to the corner. Did you see that placement on the serve? Kayla Akana.
This is not by happen chance. I mean, these players put so much work into perfecting these serves. And I mean, talk about placement.
Free ball. Hames just laid out for it. And Texas will get the point. What an effort, though, from Nebraska.
Really like the little tricky shot by Skylar Fields, not just because of the shot, but because of the timing. She knows that the Nebraska defense was on the run to make a play on that ball. So challenge those players who have not yet quite made it back into their defensive base position. Talk about being aware of what's happening across the net. Really smart play from Fields.
Good pass from Knuckles. They can go to Kubik. In.
And that looked a lot like that Logan Eggleston swing that we saw earlier, deep into that left back corner. And because they swing so high, such a high contact point, they're literally going over the block when they contact the ball. I don't think Nebraska liked that one. They thought maybe that one was out of bounds.
And did you see Jenna Gabriel? She lays her arms out for the bump set and then just slides on the court.
Yeah.
Sun with a tip out of the back row. Counter with Logan Eggleston out of the back. Maddie Kubik. She's in double figures now with 10 kills.
And of course, Nebraska liking that matchup as they have Kubik against the front row setter. And they're going to get the most out of that matchup. Maddie Kubik does a good job there going for the seam of the block with the taller blocker next to that smaller setter.
Backside to Sun. Oh, Gabriel up! They got it up! Attacking error, though, is going to give it to Texas. We want to let you know, if you're looking for college football live, you can see it over on ESPNU right now. We have got the regional final here between Texas and Nebraska.
Regional final, of course, Courtney, being that round of 8. So realize only 8 left to actually make it 7, as the one has already punched their ticket.
That one would be Washington, who beat Pitt in 5 sets earlier today. Oh, when your setter gets a kill, that is big time.
No one likes it more than Nicklin Hames. She is excited about that one. She is such a fiery setter. I really thought she was going to turn and hit that one into the angle, but look at the placement right down the line from Nicklin Hames. Huge celebration from her teammates.
She is such a smart player. Has run this offense for Nebraska her entire career. And that will be Texas's point. Nicklin Hames, a pretty special player. Holly.
Well, that's right. She came in and she was the first freshman ever to start at setter for Nebraska. That's like a little bit of pressure on your shoulders with all of the great tradition and attention that this program gets. I don't know if she had more pressure or a starting quarterback at Nebraska, but she has run this offense to perfection. Her coach, John Cook, said she just gets better and better. There's no learning curve available in the Big Ten. She's been under pressure her whole life, and she's handled it very well.
And well, Holly, she comes from a really great volleyball background. Her mom, Christine, and her dad, Jason, who are in the stands right now, they run a club, K2 Volleyball, in Knoxville, Tennessee. Christine played volleyball at Oregon State, was a member of the Australian national team, and the coach at Webb School, where Nicklin played. So there was no choice but to be a great volleyball player, and John Cook feels strongly that Nicklin's going to be a coach someday.
Trying to coach up this team right now from out on the court, Courtney, but it's Yosia causing all sorts of trouble again for Texas from the service line. And as you've watched college volleyball over the years, I feel like Nebraska sort of wrote this manual in terms of being tough from the service line, and now every other team has followed suit, and they're having to defend their own strength.
That swing from Caffey ends a 3-0 run for Texas. We are at least playing 4 sets in this regional final, even at a set apiece. And Hames steps back to serve. Breon Butler, watch out, watch out.
There it is. When the pass is there, it just looks so easy sometimes.
It is for Breon Butler. For the rest of us, it's not.
Exactly.
Asia O'Neal at the net, just dominance up there. She's got 5 blocks.
Lexi Sun doesn't pass that ball well, and so she's the recipient of an out-of-system bump set. And I think the frustration from the bad pass, she tries to take a big rip at it, just not a smart swing.
Good pass, they go to Caffey. It's been the difference. Texas was struggling with their passing in set 2. It allowed Nebraska to win, and now Texas serving tough and keeping Nebraska out of system. That's why whenever you ask a volleyball coach, oh, coach, what are your keys to facing, name your opponent? Well, we have to win the serve pass battle. That's the first answer every time.
And it's the right answer every time. Taking a look at the numbers, Courtney, I see that Lauren Stiveren's still not in double digits in terms of attempts. Only 9 attempts were in the 3rd set. That's well below her average.
She was questionable coming into this match. Officially, Nebraska says she is day-to-day with an undisclosed injury. We did not see her yesterday, but she has played in every set today. And Nebraska will use its final timeout of the set as Texas leads it 18-12. Asia O'Neal has been tough to stop today, and it's not just her offense. 5 blocks in this game, too.
We said it earlier, just the complete package at middle blocker. She's threatening double-digit kills right now. She has 9. I'm sure she'll get there, hitting 571, doing it with grace from behind, as she has been really the superstar slide hitter in this one. So much talk about Stivrins, but Asia O'Neal showing off what she can do behind the setter. And as you mentioned, Courtney, doesn't slack off at all when it comes to defense as well. Just an excellent blocker. So impressed with the way she has responded on the big stage here. A redshirt sophomore for Texas, looking like an upperclassman.
Yeah, and Holly, she has a very interesting journey.
Really hard to imagine that just over a year ago she was undergoing open heart surgery. She has had 2 open heart surgeries in her life, one in 2013 and one last January. She had a heart murmur, and in January she was having her mitral valve leak so much that she had to go in for that surgery. She said it's been very difficult, even just walking upstairs, the pain that one would endure having your entire sternum cracked open. And here she is playing volleyball at a high level just over a year later. She did come back and compete in their fall season this year as the Big 12 played in the fall. And I just can't imagine that a young lady could overcome this and be playing at this level with no fear, unafraid after 2 open heart surgeries. What an inspiration, Asia O'Neal.
Yeah, just incredible. And we asked Jared Elliott about this, Holly. He said she felt so much better after, you know, the initial surgery and the recovery, because she was getting more oxygen. She felt like a new person, like she was driving a new car. Her body got a new engine. Nine kills, hitting 571 with 6 blocks, and Texas trying to take a 2-1 lead in the match. And it's out, all because of Asia O'Neal.
Yeah, once again, really nice job there by Texas handling that serve from Kinsey Knuckles. And as you said, it's the attack of Asia O'Neal that gave Texas the upper hand there in that one.
Neither team is hitting for a great percentage in this set, but Nebraska is in the negative at -080, negative -080. Skylar Fields, second Texas Longhorn in double figures with 10.
And that one felt like a change-up, Courtney. She got there a little early. The set was late, but what a great job she does gathering herself on the floor and then jumping so that she still has the ability to take a swing at that ball. Not a full swing, but just great placement.
Texas 5 points away from taking the set. Another ace for Eggleston. That's her 4th.
Wow, Eggleston, another ace. And interestingly, I think we thought we'd see the huge offensive numbers in this one, the 20+ kills, but some of the most damage in this match so far has come from the service line. It's been those players who've been able to create streaks from the service line, which is something that Eggleston has done, and she does here again. Another fantastic serve. Just so incredible. This serve is coming at you from a different angle. She's got a jump float, so she goes up and gets it. Her arm is extended, and literally this ball is traveling over the net and downward at the passers, and it's got some movement on it. Nebraska having all sorts of trouble with this serve.
Another overpass. And Skylar Fields turns it into points. Look, Missy, be lucky that we're not there, because I was at Texas's regional last year and I made Salima Rockwell try to pass Logan Eggleston's serve. It didn't go well.
I would consider it success if I just got out of the way in time, let alone try to pass it, okay?
Made some great TV, though. On a service error, but hey, it's so much success off of that serve. That one's okay.
Absolutely.
Texas 2 points away from taking set 3. Kubik and Logan Eggleston with the diving dig. Some space for Skylar Fields.
The power of Logan Eggleston so well documented, but as you pointed out there, how about the sprawling dig out of middle back for Logan Eggleston? Don't forget, she is a magnificent 6 rotation player in her own right.
Set point, Texas. That ball was touched. Second set point here for the Longhorns.
For Maddie Kubik, make it 11 kills now. She continues to be the leader for Nebraska, but all of a sudden Skylar Fields leading Texas with 13 kills, and that's because of that great serve run that we saw from Eggleston.
And Skylar Fields will finish it off. Her 14th kill does it. Texas takes a 2-1 lead in this match. A spot in the semifinals on the line here in Omaha. How about Logan Eggleston right now for Texas, doing a little bit of everything.
Oh, you better believe it, but it's really the magic she's had from the service line. Not just the aces, but 8 points off of her serve in set 3. She's just coming at you from a different height, a different angle. And we talked about the fact that Nebraska needed to make Texas uncomfortable. Well, Logan Eggleston made the Cornhuskers very uncomfortable there in set 3.
You see her numbers. I think the key, though, is it's not just her. She's doing all these things, and she's getting help, just like she did yesterday. Skylar Fields with 14 kills. That's her most kills through 3 sets this season. So some help for Eggleston really does help out Texas.
Yeah, I just never thought we'd be 3 sets into this and for Skylar Fields to have 14 kills, but it's because of the balance that we're getting from Texas. I thought she'd be up in the 20s, the kind of things that we're used to seeing from her, the huge numbers, but it's been because of the help that she's getting. It's allowing Jenna Gabriel to spread the sets around, and really it's because Texas has been so good with Eggleston in the back row because of her serve.
And there's Lauren Stivrins, a piece we haven't seen too often today, but a piece that can be crucial for Nebraska.
She has played in the entirety of this match. We knew that she was questionable coming in, but that is just her 10th attempt. And so we will see how sparingly they use Lauren Stivrins here, or if they start to go to her a little bit more.
She hits .473 on the season, so if they do go to her, good chance she's getting a kill. That'll be a kill for Texas.
You see, it's like having a second setter out there on the floor. She had a much better angle at that ball than Jenna Gabriel, and so I love the communication between the two of them. She's not afraid to call Gabriel off, and Gabriel lets her have it. She doesn't have this ego like, I have to set that ball. You're in a better position, step in, let it go. Really like the communication between those two.
Just watching her this last 2 days, you've got a lot of confidence in her, so I'm sure Jenna Gabriel sees that every day in their gym.
And early in set 4, already 2 balls to Lauren Stivrins, and she's converted here. Interesting.
Maybe something Nebraska talked about in between those sets. Nebraska has to win this set to extend the match. Boom from Eggleston.
Eggleston with another kill, make it 13. She is right behind Skylar Fields, who's leading the way with 14. Skylar Fields, by the way, with those 14 kills, has yet to have an error, Courtney. She's hitting 700. Huge day for the outsides for Texas.
Whew. Take 2, even better than the first.
Texas team so physical, which of course results into such aggressive play at the net. If it's even close to an overpass, you better be ducking.
Texas didn't make it this far in the tournament last season. They were the #2 overall seed and were upset in the regional semifinal by Louisville, as Lauren Stivrins gets the swing.
And Courtney, another interesting fact, the 3 previous times that the national semifinals and championship have been in Omaha. Nebraska has been a part of that round of 4 there at the end, those national semifinals. And so they're trying, of course, this entire tournament is in Omaha, but they're trying to stay alive until that final remaining 4 teams.
John Cook has been there before. It would be their 16th semifinal appearance, the first since 2018, but they've got to win this set and the 5th set to get there. Kayla Caffey showing that she can attack behind the setter too.
Maddie Kubik nails that pass, and it's an important one because they needed to get Logan Eggleston off the service line. But John Cook called Kayla Caffey a side-out machine, and you see it there. That time behind, not necessarily what you would expect from Caffey, who is really good in front, but certainly has that ability to go behind as well.
Caffey started her career at Missouri 4 seasons with the Missouri Tigers, redshirted a couple of those before coming to Nebraska. And Lexi Sun working on the other pin.
With this big physical team of Texas, you really have to work the ball from antenna to antenna to hope to have any advantage against that big block. And so just moments ago, we saw Caffey behind. Now Lexi Sun out at the opposite pin, hoping to create some space in the block. Did we mention Skylar Fields doesn't have an error yet? Make it 15 kills without an error for the sophomore. There it is.
Is this like a perfect game if we mention it? Or people at home yelling at us? Yeah.
I don't know. I hadn't thought of it. I'm going to be quiet now.
Fields looks pretty good though, Holly.
Well, you know, this is her 2nd straight match that she's been spectacular. She had 21 kills against Penn State in their last match yesterday, and she hit 500. It's so funny watching her. I'm right behind her, and when you see her arm angle, the ball just drops like a rock. I mean, it's almost impossible to block and defend at the net.
Yeah, and it's been really tough for Nebraska to do anything with it today with those 15 kills hitting 714.
Yeah, and Holly is so right. I mean, with the jump that you get from Skylar Fields, there are balls that literally go untouched. She is above the block. It is just an angle that a lot of teams can't recreate that in their gym. They can't prepare for the likes of Skylar Fields.
Breon Butler behind the setter.
Interesting. That was the Lexi Sun serve there. And I thought Lexi really helped Nebraska make a move in set 2 with what she did from behind the service line. And then in set 3, it was Eggleston of Texas who really put her team in the driver's seat with what she did from behind the service line. And here in this 4th set, neither one of them had been able to go on a run back there yet.
Nebraska way out of system. The serving works for Texas. We saw them turn it on in that last set.
An extended huddle there for Nebraska as Jenna Gabriel waits to put the ball into play. And you can literally see some of those Nebraska players taking a deep breath here. The excitement of having fans in the stands, obviously they were all looking forward to that. But is there any added pressure on Nebraska? We've said that they're the home team, that could be a benefit, but could there also be some pressure there for the Cornhuskers?
Lexi Sun from the back row, and you hear those fans. Holly, what is it like in the arena with fans, especially with Nebraska playing?
It's awesome. I mean, even though they look so spread out and it doesn't look like there's a lot on TV, it is loud in here. It is electric. And the thing that's got to get happening, though, is these fans have got to get back on their feet. There are too many Nebraska fans sitting down. There haven't been extended long points for Nebraska where they get up and they get rowdy, because when they were doing that, Nebraska was going on a roll.
Yeah, I almost forgot what it was like to play with a home court advantage.
Maybe the fans forgot how to cheer.
Yeah. You can hear them now, though. Nebraska back on top, getting lucky to play the whole tournament here in Omaha. Not far from Lincoln, Nebraska at all. A short commute for this year's NCAA tournament. And it's an ace for Knuckles.
Drops one in there, a short serve right over the net. They do not intend for Molly Phillips to be in the serve receive, but she was forced to try to make a play on that ball, and it doesn't go well for Texas.
Timeout is called. Nebraska fans on their feet now. The Cornhuskers have scored 4 straight points to take a 10-8 lead here in the 4th set. They have to win this set and the next set to advance.
Texas hitting 364 here in the current set, but not to be outdone. Nebraska at 400 in this set.
That's a big number. And a center line violation on Texas. How about that 5-0 run for the Cornhuskers?
And all on the serve of Kenzie Knuckles. You have said it, Courtney, that on both of these teams, it's not just one server. It's all 6 servers in the rotation. When they step back there to play at this high of a level, they know they have to be a threat. And right now, it's Kenzie Knuckles with the knuckleball having her way.
An ace for Knuckles. Nebraska has 9 aces. She has 2 during this service run.
And the longer you're able to stay back there, Courtney, the more comfortable you get, the more confident you get, the harder the serve is coming at the opponent.
Ooh, if they win this set, they're moving on. Maddie Kubik, they needed that.
They did. They needed that pass with Yosia back there at the service line, and then they needed Kubik to come through, and she did just that. You wanted to get Yosia off of the service line. That is a huge swing from Kubik. She is leading the way, 14 kills now for Nebraska.
Service error. Nebraska hasn't had too many of those today. That's just their 3rd.
Wow, that's impressive to only have 3 errors at this point in the match with the performance they've had from the service line. I've seen teams only have 3 errors but not create the sort of pressure that Nebraska has been able to create.
An ace for Texas and Morgan O'Brien.
We've talked about the importance of service pressure, and for sure, if you're wearing the libero jersey, it is a big part of what you bring to the squad, and secondary setting has become a big part of the libero position. Passing always has been, defense always has been, but now these players are expected to be great secondary setters and great servers as well. It's going to be another Texas block up there controlling the net. Right down the middle for Lexi Sun. They choose not to go to the Stiverin slide that they typically use quite a bit. Send her behind to draw some attention. Of course, they've got the attacker Kubik out at the left pin, and they try to open up the middle of the court, but really nice blocking right there and staying home, being really disciplined by Texas.
So Nebraska has to call a timeout. First time we have been tied since it was 8-all Texas is getting contributions from everyone. And again, Skylar Fields with some big numbers today. 16 kills, hitting .625.
Okay, she does have one error now, but she has 16 kills to show for it, more than anyone else in this match. The sophomore having really an all-tournament type of performance here in Omaha. She has just been huge for the Longhorns.
Had that career high yesterday, following it up with 16 kills here. Texas has scored 3 straight. They're on a 6-1 run to tie this game up.
Holly mentioned that Skylar Fields hit 500 yesterday. I guess she wasn't happy with that, Courtney, because she elevates her game. If you didn't know if it was possible from what you saw from her yesterday, even better numbers right now.
Well, the NBA is on ESPN tonight for a special edition doubleheader. 7:30 Eastern, Warriors versus the 76ers, and then at 10 Eastern, the Jazz versus the Lakers. Coverage begins with Stephen A's pregame Sports Center at 7. This will not be our last volleyball match of the day. We will have 2 more matches for you over on ESPNU. Wisconsin and Florida on deck. We've got to finish up this battle, though, between Texas and Nebraska. Eggleston to the back row.
And that's where we've seen the elevation of both Eggleston and Skylar Fields. Just the way that they are able to elevate and go up and over the block, the athleticism, the power. When they're in system, this Texas team is incredibly dangerous.
Lexi Sun out of the back row ties it back up.
And how do you avoid that big Texas block? Well, hey, maybe try some offense from the backcourt. Give your players some room to swing when you've got those huge Texas defenders right in front of you. I like the choice there by Nicklin Hames.
Well, John Cook told us that they would have to be more creative offensively because of the number of athletes that Texas has.
Eggleston with the open hand shot that time. Nice use of the off speed, and she just tosses it right into the middle of the court, catches that Nebraska defense watching.
And John Cook isn't happy about something, but we will play on.
I think maybe the contact there from Eggleston he thought was a little questionable, but I feel like we've seen a lot of the power tip and, you know, the use of the throw throughout the tournament.
Backside to Stivrins. Dug up, but it's an overpass. And a net violation on Texas.
If you're Nebraska, you'd really like to turn this error into 2 points.
Good dig on Eggleston by Akana. Take 2, though. When she gets a second look, that's really difficult to stop.
Wow, great use of the court. The first time she's able to swing straight down the line, that ball is dug. And look here, second time through the seam, splits the defenders. Just great volleyball by Eggleston. Oh, I like the look of the follow through there. Beautiful.
Texas is hitting .421 in this set, and they get an ace from Eggleston.
Guess
She's
who's
tied
at
her
the
career
service line?
high.
Absolutely no surprise who is at the service line right now when you hear ace.
That's a full stat line. 18 kills, 5 blocks, 5 aces. That one long.
And I'm not sure if Nebraska called that ball out of bounds or if they just got lucky if no one made a play on it, and it is just long.
Hames is a really good server, too. She has had success today. This would be a great opportunity here for Nebraska. And I think we might have a challenge on this. Yes, Jarrett Elliott has used a challenge. The original call was that that was a service error.
My initial response was in agreement with the officials, Courtney, so I'll be curious to get another look at that.
It also is an opportunity, though, for Texas to gather up together and chat because they don't have any more timeouts remaining, and that ball is out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe this challenge is just sort of a little timeout. Texas knowing that if they go to a fifth, they will receive another challenge.
That's just the first one that Texas has used.
Yeah, they've got challenges to burn.
So Daphne Nelson does confirm that call for us. It is out. It's a point, Nebraska. With Nicklin Hames serving. Peterson handled it nicely. Asia O'Neal, even though it ricocheted off the block, it went out of bounds.
Absolutely, the block is where it needs to be. They do the right thing. They turn their hands back in bounds, but just too much on that one from Asia O'Neal, and it travels all the way off the blocker's hands out of bounds.
So Texas makes a substitution. Naomi Cabello comes in, number 24 in that white jersey.
Gonna give them some height here in right front. See if she can get involved in the block.
Bumstead Eggleston in the back row. Maddie Kubik takes care of it for Lexi Sun, and Nebraska is in the net. Texas will be the first to 20.
And Lexi Sun just looks stunned. She does not think that she was into the net on that play.
Yeah, her shoulder hits the net when she comes down.
I think she feels like maybe the net was pushed into her.
John Cook has the green challenge card in his hand. And so they're going to take a look at this.
Yeah, so this will be interesting, Courtney. Obviously, we were able to see the net contact Lexi's Sun. I think she felt like maybe the net was pushed into her.
Watching that, though, I think she hits the net first. I don't see Texas making contact with it before that.
Yeah, I don't either from that angle. And that might be a hard one to have a much better look at. Things happening down there at the bottom of the net can be pretty difficult to see.
But this is an important point. Remember, Nebraska has to win this set to continue. And they confirm that call.
Yeah, pretty quickly confirm that call.
Out of system again, thanks to the Texas serve. 21-17 Longhorns.
And at this point in the match, a 4-point spread feels like a mountain sometimes.
Nebraska's going to use its final timeout of the set.
We've seen so much physicality from Texas, exactly what we expected. We didn't know if we would see Lauren Stivrins on the floor or not. We have seen her out there, but I will say it feels like it's been in a very limited capacity, not the number of balls to Stivrins that I would have expected. She has 14 attempts right now. She's actually killed 7 of those, and it's amazing to say that it feels like a quiet night from Lauren Stivrins when you think of those numbers, but we just know what a huge impact she can have on a match.
Well, Tuesday, you can catch an MLB matchup as the Mets take on the Cubs, the first of a 3-game series at Wrigley, beginning at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Much more volleyball to come your way tonight. 2 more matches on deck, including a match involving the #1 seed in this tournament. Wisconsin will take on Florida. That is our next match, followed by Purdue and Kentucky at approximately 9 Eastern. Both of those can be seen over on ESPNU, but Wisconsin-Florida is going to be a lot of fun. Florida actually leads that series 5-0. The Gators have upset Wisconsin twice in the NCAA tournament, once in 2015 and once back in 1997.
Wow, 2 Big Ten SEC matchups on tap for us tonight. Of course, Florida, the team out of the SEC who has historically made the deepest runs in the tournament, and everyone wondering, will Florida do it again, or is this Kentucky's year, or maybe both?
Service error out of the timeout. Opportunity for Nebraska, especially with Lexi Sun going back to serve.
Absolutely, she's been so good from the service line, and when she goes to the back row, Maddie Kubik to the front row. She's their leading attacker today.
14 kills for Kubik. Breon Butler, ooh, ricocheted off of Knuckles. There's Kubik tooling the block.
Wow, are you kidding me? Knuckles steps in there and takes a huge shot. And then it's Lexi Sun out of middle back with a big dig. And they finally get a chance offensively. And we just said, Kubik coming to the front row. Wow, she makes it pay off.
A must-win set for Nebraska. Skylar Fields, that's just nice. 17th kill.
She's now trailing Logan Eggleston by just 1 kill. And if you're Coach Elliott, you gotta love the fact that it's 2 players on your own team who are battling for the lead in kills in this one.
Overpass. Breon Butler lives for it.
Notice an overpass that's created by this Texas serve that has really come out and gone toe to toe with the Nebraska serve and absolutely held their own.
Breon Butler. Match point, Texas. Service error, second match point for Texas.
Lauren Stivrins back in across the front row.
She's so dangerous. Breon Butler blocked.
Stivrins an immediate impact as she just smothers this ball from Breon Butler.
Third match point for Texas. Jenna Gabriel goes out to Fields. There it is! Texas is moving on! A 4-set win for Texas. They take down Nebraska, and we will see them in the national semifinals.
Nebraska will not, for the first time, play in a national semifinal in Omaha. Instead, it's the Longhorns who are locked in, and fitting that it should come off of a swing from Skylar Fields as she goes for 18 kills and matches Logan Eggleston in this match. What a well-rounded and complete performance by Texas.
Their 13th semifinal appearance, the first since 2016. Texas comes out. They hit 336 in this match. Logan Eggleston was fantastic. How about Skylar Fields, Missy, over the last 2 days? She's got 18 kills in this match.
She was just an absolute rock star. She's only a sophomore, Courtney. You would never know it. The poise that she has played with over the course of this tournament. You mentioned the 336 in this match. How about in that final 4th set, Texas hits over 400. They close it out in style.
They are 4th in the nation in hit percentage. You can see why. Multiple weapons for this Texas team, and they get it done in a battle of 2 historic programs. It is Texas coming out on top. Skylar Fields with 18 kills, and she is standing by with Holly Rowe.
Well, Skylar, you continue to just be dominant in this event. You had 21 kills, hit over 500 yesterday. Even more efficient today, over 700 at times during this. How are you able to see the ball so well right now?
You know, I think my middles are doing a good job of getting me space. The setter is getting the ball through the zone, and I'm just able to go over the top and find space and put the ball away.
You're losing your voice. What is that all about?
You know, I'm just all in right now. If I have to play with no voice, I'm going to play with no voice.
You guys were so terrific. Your defense was there against this very difficult Nebraska team. What's kind of coming together for this group right now?
You know, I think we're starting to peak at the right time, and there's a lot of trust in one another, and I think that that's what's helping us get through each point. And, you know, we're kind of staying focused on one point at a time and not letting a long run get to us. So I think that's what we're doing very well.
Yeah, you guys are also so terrific at the net. Asia O'Neal, just unbelievable with the blocks, you included. How are you guys really reading those hitters very well and sealing off those blocks?
We did a good job scouting this team, so, you know, we were very focused and we could watch it pass and figure out where they were going to go, and just got low and over.
What does it mean to beat Nebraska with this hometown crowd here behind them to get to the national semifinals?
It means everything. This is honestly so surreal right now, but I knew our team would play together and we could come on top if we really wanted it.
All right, well, get some rest. Get that voice back, because you're going to need it for the next match. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, she has been so impressive. 21 kills yesterday, 18 kills today. Texas, the second team to advance to the national semifinal. They will get the winner of Wisconsin, Florida. That match is on deck. You can see it over on ESPNU. And hey, there was somebody else who had 18 kills for Texas today. That would be Logan Eggleston, and she's with Holly now.
Logan Eggleston, as good as you were on offense, it was really your serve. So many points, a career high in service aces. What have you fine-tuned with your serving right now to be so deadly back there?
I think we really talk about how important our serve is and how we really do need to be aggressive and get teams like Nebraska out of system. So, yeah, we're going to have our service errors, but I think, you know, that shows that our service aces are just as important. So we've just been dialing that in, making sure we're serving aggressive and not really worrying about all the misses.
Coach continues to use the word balance with this group of when you're balanced, you are unbeatable. What does it feel like out there where it's you, Skylar, Breon in the middle? Everybody is so balanced.
It's such an amazing feeling. Just, I know I can trust every single one of my teammates to put the ball away, and I know Jenna is going to dish the ball out to everyone, and everyone's going to be ready at all times. So it's just such a great feeling just to have that on a team. I've never been on a team like that. So I'm so proud of everyone I play with, and I'm so excited for the next round.
I'm so proud of you, because I remember you came as a freshman and you were contributing, but you've gone from that to dominating. How have you grown into the moment and to the player you are right now?
Thank you. I I just think I get in the gym every single day and work, and I really give all the credit to my teammates because they push me. You know, you see the block that I work against every single day during practice, and you see the defenders that are digging my balls, and so I really have to put in the work every single day, and they prepare me for moments like this. So I have to give all the credit to them.
All right, Texas has suffered some upsets. You're into the finals now. What does that mean?
It means everything. I think, especially this year, I feel like our season's been like 3 years long, and we've given up so much because of COVID, and I'm just so proud that we've made it to this moment, and I'm just excited to see where we go next.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will see Texas in the national semifinals for the 13th time. Jarrett Elliott and his crew moving on. Not done from Omaha yet. Texas wins